What's going on, YouTube? We're here with Nick from Team Calculated Risk. We're at Merrimack Games and Comics, and we're going to be going over his Blue-Eyed Spellbook deck list. Alright, take it away.
How's it going, guys? I've been testing this deck for about a month now, and it's been doing really good. It's 41 cards right now. I'd like to try and get it down to 40, possibly, but for right now, it's doing pretty good. So let's jump right into this. First off, we're running one Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's a 3K beater, and with the Maiden, it's just great to be able to get it out from your hand, deck, or graveyard, so you only need to run one. Next up is the Blue-Eyed Maiden. If she's targeted for a spell, trap, or monster effect, you can summon a Blue Eyes from the hand, deck, or graveyard. So that's just amazing to me right there. You automatically just get a 3K beater for nothing. Also, if she's attacked, she's switched right to defense position, negates the attack, and then you also can summon a Blue Eyes from the hand, deck, or graveyard. So pretty much no matter what your opponent does to her, they are going to get a Blue Eyes on the board that they're going to have to worry about. Next off, it's just a pretty standard Spellbook build. You have 3 Blue Boy, this Stratos basically of the deck, you search out a Spellbook, yada yada yada. Next up is triple Kaiku. He ruins everybody's day, we all know that. 1 Veiler, just in case my opponent decides to Shockmaster me or anything really. Bear seems to be an issue occasionally. 2 Priestess, also great to synchro with, and she does a lot more work now, I believe, in the Blue Eyes build because I have more ways of getting her out and using her as a synchro material. So that lets me get my Stardust Dragons, my Scrap Dragons, anything I want to put out. Then finally, to line up the monsters, it's 1 Jowgen just because it's Spellbooks and he helps to ruin everyone's day. Onto the spell cards. We run typical 3 Judgments, 3 Secrets, double Tower, double Fate just to remove anything that's a threat. We run 2 Crescent because honestly I like the card in the first turn. If I don't draw anything good, it kind of lets me use it as a somewhat Cytopod of Duality. It lets you pick out 3 Spellbooks and just add 1 to your hand, but your opponent has to choose it for you, which it's not always a bad thing because you can just hide them from them. It's something you can just hide from them face down. Next up, it's 3 Upstart Goblins just as an extra draw engine, and it helps rack up counters for Judgment Day. Next is 1 Wisdom, 1 Power, 1 Eternity, and 1 Life. Then we were running 2 Star Hall. I used to run 3, but then I honestly thought I have enough big beaters now on the board where I don't need to run 3. I'd like to maybe squeeze a 3rd one in there in the side deck possibly, but for now 2's been working out great. Double Master, and then for the non-Spellbook spell cards, it's 1 Book of Moon, 1 Monster Reborn. Onto traps, we run Solemn Duo and 2 Phoenix Wind Blasts. The reason I run the Phoenix Wind Blast is honestly because I have so many cards in hand half the time that I honestly don't mind if I discard one. And it really hurts my opponent that they are going to be sending something back to their deck. Onto the extra deck we have 1 Gotchi, 1 Shining Elf, 1 Gaga Cowboy. Then we go on to the Synchros, Colossalus, Balmung, Hyper Librarian. Because it's a spellcaster, that's the reason I decided to run this over Cataster, just because it can activate my fates, it can be a power target, it can be a wisdom target, whatever I need to do with it. Tempest Magician. I've seen this card put in so much work in OTK my opponent, just because I've racked up counters onto my Star Halls, and I've been able to burn my opponent for almost 7,000 damage before, and it just is great. Arcanite Magician, just a generic rank 7 for this deck just because I like the spellcaster thing. It lets you trigger off fate, power, etc. Sacred Wyvern. I've only gotten him out once, but when he did, he put in quite a bit of work. He can be a really big beater if you're trying to you're ahead in the game, this guy can be a huge beater. I had him up to almost 6,000 attack points one time. It was ridiculous just watching my opponent try to deal with them. Red Dragon Archfiend, just as a generic rank, level 8. Just, everyone knows how Red Dragon Archfiend works. Crimson Blader helps me stop dragons. It's great just to be able to do the him first turn and maybe run over pebbles or something that my opponent didn't want me to hit. Scrap Dragon, because it's Scrap Dragon, it just can put in a ton of work. Stardust Dragon, as an extra protection, you never know when you're going to need it. It's helped out a couple times. And then finally, I kind of teched this in, and I liked it. I've been able to get it out a couple times, and it's a Star Reader. It doesn't come out often, but where I can manipulate levels with Book of Life, sometimes he can be quite the nice card just to get out and help ruin my opponent's day when they can't Solemn Judgment it or Torrential it. They can't do anything to it pretty much when it first gets on the board. Obviously they can Dark Hole it afterwards, but just that initial being able to get a 32 beater onto the board that can't be Solemned, can't be Mirror Forced, can't be Deprisoned or anything like that, it can be a real big threat to the game.
What are your thoughts on Thought Ruler Archfiend in the extra?
It'd be kind of hard to squeeze in some room, but if I was going to take something out, it would probably be a Red Dragon Archfiend for it, because I honestly don't think I've ever gone into him. I've just used him as the option in case I needed him.
Yeah, because Thought Ruler has that negation. Yeah, it's wicked good.
He's really good this format, especially like stuff like Blaster and crap like that running around.
Alright, so side deck?
Onto the side deck, we're running triple Droll and Lockbird. That's pretty obvious. It stops the Prophecy matchup and can hurt dragons and other things. I'm running 1 Max C right now. I want to put 2 in, but I could not get a hold of a second one for this profile, so I only have 1. Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, double MST, staples, you know, stuff you're going to regularly run into. Triple D-Fissure, because it doesn't hurt me to lose my monsters, it hurts me more or less to lose my spell cards. This allows me to keep my spell cards in my graveyard, away from that banish zone, and lets me use Fate that way. Well, it also hurts mermaids. It can somewhat hurt dragons, but it doesn't really kill them that much. It just slows them down for a turn, honestly. Then we're running double Mind Drain to deal with dragons, and double Soul Drain just to deal with dragons, and once in a while, Rogue Mermaid matchup that I get.
So I know you have the deck made now, but thoughts on how this deck is going to be when the ban list hits?
Oh, God. Honestly, the worst I could see them doing, because I know Konami loves to make money, but also I hate the fact that this game is so fast, and that's coming from me who loves this deck. I think they might hit Blue Boy to 2, or...
They might hit Secrets, too.
Yeah, Secrets was the other one I was thinking about them hitting, to be completely honest. To just slow them down that search power, and I think they'd be a
You still think you'd be able to
deck.
get the Blue Eyes version?
Yeah, I honestly do. I mean, if they hit other stuff out of here, I'm sure I can work some other cards in here. There's other Spellbooks, there's other Magicians that are decent. I mean, you could run Apprentice Magician, which is like a Sido version of him. You just put him face down, and then if he gets popped, you just can summon one of these, so... There's other ways around it, but it's going to be slow, and we'll see what the format changes once it comes. I mean, I'd love to see a very slow format in the next month or so, but who knows what we're going to see. I mean, Shadow Specters doesn't really have anything that's going to make the game extremely fast. And in Judgment of the Light, I honestly think it's just going to be powering up the Fire Fists, and those needed the speed boost anyways.
Alright guys, well that's it for our deck list. Like, comment, and subscribe down below, and peace out.